Hey guys, Preston here and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers signing Kwon Alexander to a one-year deal. The money in this deal has not been released yet, but I'm going to assume it is rather low because that's just kind of how the Steelers operate. Plus it's a one-year deal for a vet who's been in the market for a while, so I think it's safe to assume it was rather inexpensive, so I don't think it's important to focus on the money part of this. Instead, I'm going to focus more on what he brings to the Steelers, what I think, if I think this move is needed or not, and just how this helps that Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker room that has been completely overhauled from this past season. So, by the way, I won't be always making proper eye contact with you guys. The camera's in a different spot on the phone, and I'm going to be looking at the laptop to discuss some of the numbers that I thought were worth talking about. So, I think to start off, very simply, this is Kwon's 9th year in the NFL. He was drafted in the 4th round back in 2015. He's carved out a pretty decent career for himself. Mainly, he was a starter at this time with the Bucs when he was drafted. Then was with the Niners, traded to the Saints, and then ended up with the Jets, where he kind of had a resurgence because the injury issues have been a big part of his career. He's missed a lot of time over the years with, I think one time was an ACL tear, and there's other various injuries that's kind of hampered him. But last season, he put together a pretty solid season where he was able to stay healthy, finishing with 69 tackles, 42 of them were solo, 6 TFLs, 1 pass defense, 1 forced fumble, and half a sack. Not bad at all. Sorry, I paused there, but overall, I think this is a very good addition for this Pittsburgh Steelers team. This was something that was rumored for a while now. I believe they brought him in for a visit like 2 months ago, which is why I think we were all left a little confused as to why it took this long to happen. I don't know if he was just waiting out so he could, I don't know. We'll see. Either way, we got the guy. This is big depth for Pittsburgh. Honestly, pretty important too, I think. There's something to mention here is his pass coverage ability is better than any linebacker we have on the team right now. Not that, oh, crap. Man, give me a second, guys. Sometimes I forget names, and it kills me. Cole Holcomb, that's what it is. It's Cole something. Cole Holcomb can hold his own in pass coverage, too, and it seems to have improved in pass coverage recently, the past few years, so that's always good. But Kwon takes that to another level. I think it's safe to say he's the best pass coveraging middle linebacker we have now. When you're rolling with Cole Holcomb and Landon Roberts, who we also signed from Miami, Roberts is more of that thumper role. It's kind of a thing in Steelers past, as you'd pair a more all-around guy or a decent coverage guy like Shazier with Vince Williams, who's always more of just that thumper run defender, which it's nice to have one of those guys, but I think it is also pretty important in the modern NFL to have capable pass coverage middle linebackers. Steelers fans, I think most of us know for a while now that a lot of times in the post-Shazier era, our middle linebackers have been easy targets for pass games to exploit, and if someone was getting burned in the middle, there's a good chance it's one of our middle linebackers. So, after the Devin Bush experiment didn't work out, and Miles Jack is gone too. He's still out there, I believe, so who knows with that. But I am assuming Miles Jack isn't coming back once we add Kwon to a room that already included Cole Holcomb, Landon Roberts, Tanner Muse, Nick Kwiatkowski, and 7th round pick last year, Mark Robinson, who showed some signs of improvement. So I think the middle linebacker room is done for now. It's not bad at all. Stay tuned on this channel for positional previews. Actually, I'm going to do it for Notre Dame and for the Steelers, so like a quarterback's one, a running backs, just based on the roster they'll have coming into the season. So the middle linebackers one, I'll go more in depth on the rest of the guys I've mentioned. But this video, I want to talk more about Kwon and what he brings to this team. Won't be real long, but with my rambling, it could be. Either way, like I said, he's a very solid third option. There's a chance he'll be in that fight for starting minutes with a guy like Landon Roberts, who was, he's not bad, but like I said, some people would consider him a liability in pass coverage, which is a problem in the modern NFL. So I don't think he's a guy you could have on the field all the time regardless. So I think no matter what happens, these three are going to get a lot of snaps. This also helps. Some people are thinking maybe Keanu Neal would have to play inside more, maybe experiment with some of that box stuff, which could still happen, honestly. Like, who knows? The modern defenses have a lot of fluidity to them for the most part, not very rigid anymore. So there's a chance he'll still play closer to the line, but now this even opens up where he doesn't have to as much. They can use him as a traditional safety if they ever feel like they need to, so that's always nice. In terms of pass coverage for Kwon, I'll say this. I was trying to find numbers that I didn't have to pay for, so, non-PFF, but Jets X Factor was bringing this up in 2022 when he said in 2021, Kwon allowed a passer rating of 85.6 on throws in the coverage, which was the 9th best for a linebacker out of the 65 linebackers who were eligible for that stat. So a top 10 pass coverage linebacker in 2021. I think he's even healthier now, and Jets fans have nothing bad to say about him at all. They seem to really like him. The coach, Robert Saleh, the Jets coach, said nice things about him, I believe today or yesterday, when the news of Kwon signing with Pittsburgh came out. So that's always, it's good to hear when the fan base isn't. Obviously, fan bases are always going to be defensive when someone leaves. It's kind of a natural thing where even if they're not like mean about him leaving, they'll still be like, we don't need him, which is, you'll see that, but not a lot of negative stuff about Kwon, like he wasn't good enough anyway or anything like that. So that's nice to see from a rather, New York fan bases aren't always the most compassionate. So it's actually says good things about Kwon there. By the way, he's wearing number 26 with the Steelers. I hate that for a linebacker, but it is what it is in modern NFL. Mark Barron also wore that number for the Steelers at linebacker, but hopefully Kwon performs better than Mark Barron. But either way, I like this move. It's a cheap move from what everyone's been guessing. It's not going to be a crazy deal. And as your third linebacker, Kwon is a very good option. He could probably start for a couple other, I don't know how many other teams, but I would say at least a few teams he could be a starter for. So if he's your third, or even if Landon Roberts becomes your third, it's still a very good room now. I think this room is better now with the Kwon signing than it was last year. So it's just another upgrade for this team that people still seem to be sleeping on. So we'll see what happens this time around. But I think if this defense can stay healthy, it's going to be back in form again, man. That 2021, 2020 level defense that carried this team through all the games. I'm talking like Duck Hodges level era of Steelers where our defense wielded us so many wins. So I think this is a very underrated move. I think this is pretty huge for this defense. I don't want to like over embellish because technically there's a good chance he's just our third string middle linebacker. But we needed depth there very bad, and it's just Omar Khan doing great things yet again. He seems to have a real grasp on what this roster needed. The philosophy of attacking the trenches in his signings has been great. Going O-line and D-line heavy with stuff, and now you build out from the rest of it too, which he's doing. Allen Robinson at receiver, Kwon Alexander at middle linebacker, along with the guys we already brought in. The only thing that'll be curious is how quickly they all mesh to our system. I am not deep enough in the football to be aware of how similar the schemes they're coming from are to Pittsburgh's, but either way, you're learning new terminology at the very least, if not a bunch of new plays and schemes possibly. So we'll see how long it takes them to mesh, not only in the playbook and with the rest of the defenders, but also with each other, as it will. The Steelers usually, they tend to run out two middle linebackers, so there's always a chance, a pair will have to get chemistry. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, Kwon's coming into this game later than Cole and Landon, so he'll have to probably fight a little harder to move up the depth chart that he wants, but he seems willing and he's accepting of a backup role even if he doesn't win that starting spot, which is nice to hear. At least it's what he's saying out loud to the media. We all know one sec. Sorry, the name escaped me again. We all remember Melvin Ingram, who came to the Steelers, and we're all very excited about being our third edge rusher, but then he got just upset about the lack of playing time as when the reality set in that he was not going to beat out Mr. 10-sack Alex Highsmith, so we had to trade him away for a 6th-round pick on the NFL deadline a year or two ago. So the way he's been talking, it sounds like we're not going to have a repeat of that situation, which is always nice to hear. So, yeah, like I said, to sum it up, a smart, savvy move. You need depth. This guy's a vet. He's been around a long time. It's crazy to think that he's already been in the league 9 years. When the average career is 3, you carve out a 9-year career for yourself, you got to be doing something right. And that's with all the injuries he's had. So either way, I'm excited about this. Another good addition to this team that Omar Khan's done a very good job of building this offseason. So, yes, guys, please comment below. Tell me what you think about this move. Obviously, it's low risk, but low risk, but there's a possibility of a high reward. So just, I don't know. Would you have gone after another middle linebacker? Do you think we should have left the room as is and given a guy like Mark Robinson these snaps to grow him? Just feel free. Anyone who wants to talk football with me in the comments below, I will always respond. I don't get much interactions on the comment section, so if it happens, I'll definitely see it. So also, please like this video. There's a Steelers playlist of all my Steelers content. You can see this video and all the other ones I made about the Steelers over the years. Like I said, I am back to uploading regularly now. I'm gonna try to upload at least 2 videos a week, probably 3 minimum. And the Steelers positional preview series will be starting, where I'll talk about Kwon and all these other middle linebackers in their own episode again. But obviously, I'll be starting on offense with the quarterbacks and move on from there. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more. I'm doing my ramble. That's textbook if you've been here before. Either way, this is KMA President signing out. See you guys later, and go Steelers.